The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, once the bedrock of Western security, is facing its most serious crisis since the end of the Cold War. The source of this crisis is not a resurgent Russia or a rising China, but rather a change in American foreign policy under President Donald Trump. Trump's America First agenda, with its emphasis on nationalism and unilateralism, has shaken the foundations of the transatlantic alliance. The president's skepticism of NATO, his questioning of its relevance, and his demands for greater burden sharing from European allies have sown doubt and division within the alliance. Trump's approach to NATO is a radical departure from the policies of his predecessors. For decades, the United States has been the guarantor of European security, providing military and nuclear protection under the umbrella of NATO. Trump, however, views NATO as an outdated institution that no longer serves American interests. He sees European allies as free riders, benefiting from American protection without contributing their fair share. The president's rhetoric has been matched by actions. These actions have alarmed European leaders who fear that the United States is abandoning its commitment to European security. The annual Munich Security Conference, usually a forum for transatlantic cooperation, became a stage for open disagreement in February 2025. US Vice President J.D. Vance, a staunch Trump ally, delivered a blistering critique of European policies, accusing allies of complacency in the face of Russian aggression and of failing to meet their defense spending commitments. Vance's speech was met with a mixture of anger and dismay by European leaders. German Chancellor Angela Merkel defended her country's record on defense spending and called for greater dialogue and cooperation between the United States and Europe. French President Emmanuel Macron warned that Europe could no longer rely on the United States to guarantee its security. The Munich Security Conference exposed the deep divisions that have emerged within NATO. Germany, Europe's largest economy, has long been criticized for its low defense spending. Berlin has traditionally relied on the United States to provide for its security, preferring to focus on its economic strength. However, the Trump administration's pressure for greater burden sharing has forced Germany to reconsider its position. Chancellor Merkel has proposed a plan for greater financial flexibility within NATO, which would allow Germany to contribute more to the alliance's budget without necessarily increasing its defense spending to the 2% of GDP target set by NATO. This proposal has been met with skepticism from some NATO allies, who see it as a way for Germany to avoid its responsibility to contribute to collective defense. They argue that Germany, given its economic might, has a moral and strategic obligation to invest more in its own security and that of its allies. The changing security environment in Europe, with a more assertive Russia and a less predictable United States, is forcing Germany to confront difficult choices. The answer to this question will have profound implications for the future of NATO and the stability of Europe. France and the United Kingdom, Europe's two main military powers, have been at the forefront of calls for greater European strategic autonomy. Both countries have expressed concern about the reliability of the US security guarantee and have argued that Europe needs to be able to defend itself without relying on America. In the wake of the Trump administration's decision to withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal, France and the United Kingdom have taken the lead in trying to salvage the agreement. They have also increased their cooperation on defense, including joint military exercises and the development of new weapons systems. One area where France and the United Kingdom have proposed greater European cooperation is in peacekeeping operations. With the United States seemingly less willing to engage in such missions, Paris and London see an opportunity for Europe to take on a greater role in maintaining international peace and security. They have proposed the creation of a European Union standing army which could be deployed rapidly to crisis zones around the world. The growing uncertainty about the future of US engagement in Europe is likely to lend new urgency to the debate about European strategic autonomy. The debate about European strategic autonomy inevitably raises the question of nuclear deterrence. France and the United Kingdom are both nuclear powers, but their arsenals are dwarfed by that of the United States. The US nuclear umbrella has long been seen as the ultimate guarantee of European security, deterring any potential adversary from attacking a NATO member state. However, with the United States seemingly less willing to engage in nuclear brinkmanship, some European strategists are beginning to question whether Europe can rely on the US nuclear umbrella indefinitely. They argue that Europe needs to develop its own credible nuclear deterrent, independent of the United States, to ensure its security in the 21st century. Critics argue that a European nuclear deterrent would be dangerous, destabilizing, and prohibitively expensive. The debate over European nuclear deterrence is likely to intensify in the coming years as the security environment in Europe continues to deteriorate. The outcome of this debate will have profound implications for the future of Europe, the transatlantic alliance, and the global nuclear order. The debate about the future of NATO is not merely academic. It has real-world implications for the security of countries on the front lines of the alliance, particularly those bordering Russia. Former Estonian Defense Forces Commander General Riho Terras has spoken out forcefully about the need for continued US engagement in Europe. He argues that Russia poses a clear and present danger to Estonia and other Baltic states, and that only a strong US military presence can deter Russian aggression. Terras has also criticized European nations for not doing enough to contribute to their own defense, arguing that burden sharing should not just be about money, but also about political will and a willingness to confront Russia. From a different perspective, but with similar concerns, former French Air Force Chief of Staff General Jean-Paul Paloméros has emphasized the need for clear and consistent communication from NATO to both its members and to potential adversaries. He argues that the mixed messages coming from Washington in recent years have emboldened Russia and undermined NATO's credibility. Paloméros has also stressed the importance of maintaining NATO's nuclear deterrent, arguing that it remains the ultimate guarantee of European security. These voices from the front lines of NATO highlight the stakes of the debate about the alliance's future. The future of NATO hangs in the balance. The Trump administration's America First policies have shaken the foundations of the alliance, raising doubts about the US commitment to European security. The divisions within NATO were on full display at the 2025 Munich Security Conference, where US Vice President J.D. Vance clashed with European leaders over burden sharing and the response to Russian aggression. European nations are divided on how to respond to the perceived US retreat from the transatlantic alliance. France and the United Kingdom have called for greater European strategic autonomy, including the possibility of a European Union standing army and even a European nuclear deterrent. The debate over European strategic autonomy is likely to intensify in the coming years, driven by uncertainty about the future of the US security guarantee and by the growing perception of a threat from Russia. The crisis within NATO is symptomatic of a larger trend, the waning of American hegemony and the emergence of a more multipolar world. The United States, while still the world's most powerful country, is no longer willing or able to play the role of global policeman that it did in the decades following the Cold War. This has created a vacuum in international leadership that other powers, such as China and Russia, are eager to fill. The rise of China, in particular, poses a long-term challenge to the US-led liberal international order. China's economic and military might is growing rapidly, and Beijing is increasingly assertive in its foreign policy. The Trump administration's response to this changing global landscape has been erratic and counterproductive. Trump's withdrawal from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, a trade agreement designed to counter China's growing economic clout, has been widely criticized as a strategic blunder. The world is at a crossroads. The old order, based on American hegemony and the transatlantic alliance, is crumbling. A new order is emerging, but its contours are still unclear. This is a time of great uncertainty and danger, but also of opportunity. The United States and its European allies face a choice. They can either cling to the past, hoping to revive a bygone era, or they can embrace the future and work together to shape a new international order that is more just, more stable, and more prosperous for all. The path forward will not be easy. The future of the transatlantic alliance, the stability of Europe, and the fate of the liberal international order all hang in the balance.
So hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and let's turn the page on a new adventure together. Get ready to experience books like never before, only on VBook 360. Like, comment, and share to support the channel and keep the video magic alive. Thank you for stopping by. And remember, every video has a story, and every story deserves to be shared. See you in the next video.